Hello all, Matt at Simple Strength Training. I've just finished my day 2 workout, so I'm a bit sweaty. It's a bit humid out here in the shed. What I want to talk to you about today though is DOMS, that wonderful feeling you get after working out of muscle soreness. The reason is because when I come back from my deload and a week off after the Eurostern comp, about 2 weeks actually, I sort of had a bit of more of a break because I strained a glute muscle. So I come back from that and I experienced what I would say was relatively mid-range DOMS that lasted for the first week and then went away. First of all, what is DOMS? DOMS is delayed onset muscle soreness from doing any sort of training that sort of stresses the muscle. How does it present? It presents as soreness in the muscle that's sore to touch or sore to move. You could say it's like an injury, but it's not an injury that prevents you from actually moving and doing things or anything like that. But what it does is presents as soreness. If you've never had them before, it may seem relatively bad or harsh, but just remember it's something you haven't experienced before, and it might make you feel a little bit uncomfortable. The main cause of DOMS is an eccentric contraction. There are a few different types of contractions, but the main cause of it is eccentric contraction. What is an eccentric contraction? That is just lengthening the muscle under a load or under mechanical tension, which is the opposite of a concentric contraction. So to show you on my flabby arm here, so if I start with my arm straight out and bring it up, you can see the muscle gets shorter there and gets bigger height-wise. So that's the contracting of the muscle, which is a concentric contraction. And as I straighten my arm, you can see the muscle height goes down, but it lengthens this way, and that is a eccentric contraction. When you do that under a load, that causes stress, and that's the main cause of DOMS. That's where you mainly get them. I'm not saying you won't get them from other things, I'm just saying that's one of the main causes of it. Alrighty. Who's going to get DOMS? When are you going to get DOMS? If you're new to training, brand new to doing any sort of resistance training or anything like that, you're more than likely going to get DOMS. What you'll want to avoid is really severe DOMS. That's the DOMS where it's so painful you cannot move your arm or your leg or anything like that. And if that's happened, you've trained way too hard to start with, or your trainers put you through a workout that's way too hard for you to start off with. When we start off, we like to start off with learning the movements. That means keeping the stress relatively low. That doesn't mean it won't stimulate a change or stimulate growth. It just means we're helping your body get used to doing the exercises as we make it grow without overstressing or overtraining your body. It's a safe way to do it, and it's a safe way to train to make sure you learn the movement patterns properly first as you go forward. The second way you can get DOMS is if you're coming back from a deload or time off like I did after an injury, say, which is what happened with me. You will experience DOMS again also then, more than likely. I had them, they were relatively sort of mid-range DOMS, but they only lasted a week. Another way you can get DOMS is if you're starting an exercise that you have never done before, or an exercise you haven't done for a long time. Usually that'll cause DOMS for the first time you do it. So watch out for that one. Another way you can get DOMS is, like I said before, if you're experienced training and you've had a lot of time under the bar and stuff, and you're at that point where you're training, you need to push yourself and need to push to your limits. That's another point where if you weren't getting DOMS before, you could get some DOMS also. How long do DOMS last? Basically, how long do they take to kick in? Everyone's a bit different here. It's an individual thing. It can be 6 to 36 hours. Mine are normally about 24 to 36 hours after my workout. And depending on how bad they are, they last a day to 3 days. That varies from person to person, obviously. And the first time you get them, it might take a little bit longer to go away. Training on DOMS. All right, this is going to be a bit controversial for everyone. Some people say it's okay. Some people say it's not okay. If your DOMS are bad, really bad, and you're an experienced trainer, an experienced person at training, you'll know what I'm talking about here. You do not train on DOMS. Simple answer is do not train on DOMS, especially when they're really, really bad. If you're just starting out training and you have some DOMS from your first workout and you're doing the same exercise again a couple of days later, you will more than likely in this situation have to train on DOMs. As long as like I said before, they are not those excruciating ones where you can barely move and stuff like that. You need to let them abate a little bit. But sometimes it is a little bit unavoidable. What I generally do for myself is when I first get the DOMs, I know how I can feel them, they're pretty bad, and then if I can feel them start to abate or start to get better and they're sort of nearly gone or more or less gone, I'm okay to train that muscle again. But once again, this varies from person to person and trainer to trainer. And if you train smart or you have a good trainer, this should be pretty much avoided anyway with your programming and your training. But once again, if you're new to training for that first couple of weeks until your body gets used to the movement, it will go away, don't worry. It's not going to be there forever. The more you get used to doing that training and doing the moving and getting out there and doing the workouts, the less you will experience DOMs because your body and your muscles are used to doing those movements. And other than when you're first training, you won't sort of experience them too badly unless some of those other reasons that I explained before kick in. And what were they again? Just quickly to finish up. Being brand new to training, never done it before, just remember you'll get DOMs. They'll probably last for a week or two just because you're not used to doing the workouts. They will go away and eventually your body will get used to doing the work and you will not get them anywhere near as bad as you progress. Secondly, if you're coming back from a deload or a break or from an injury, you will probably experience DOMs. Thirdly, if you're starting a new exercise, and fourthly, if you're pushing yourself to your limits as an experienced trainee or athlete, when you push yourself to those limits, DOMs can kick in then. Outside of that, a good way to help DOMs go away in between your training sessions is just with blood flow. I'm not talking about going out and doing really high intense workouts, but just doing things that help the blood flow around the body and get the blood moving and stuff like that. A little bit of stretching may help, who knows, it might help, it might not help. Give it a go. If it helps you, good. If it doesn't, well, hey, you haven't done yourself any harm. A little bit of light stretching, that helps keep you mobile and helps keep your body and movements free. But once again, like I said, just keep the body moving, help with the blood flow and rest. The most important thing with recovery, and especially from DOMs, is rest. So make sure you get that fucking sleep in. Sleep is like steroids without taking steroids. You want to get that sleep in. A good 7 to 8 hours of sleep each night is a great place to start. I know that's hard for some, but it's important. All right, people, I hope that was informative in some way. If it helped you, let me know. If it didn't, let me know. If you thought it was a load of shit, let me know. If you have any comments about it, let me know. If you're mean to me, I won't fucking respond. If you're nice to me, I'll say thank you. All right? Catch us later and have fun staying strong for life.